Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Dana.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. How
Awesome.
about you?
I am well. I enjoyed hanging out with your family today. That was cool.
Oh, that was fun. You had a good time.
Yeah.
Hope you
Yeah,
enjoyed
and I needed a good laugh. That was good. Not that I just laughing at your family. You know what I mean?
Ha! Look at these goons being related. You are all clearly related.
Right. So we're two guys talking toys. I remember to say it.
That is indeed what we are. So
Yes.
how are you doing and what have you been up to?
Well, kind of reorganizing the basement again, which is a stressful endeavor for me, which is why I'm down here tonight, as opposed to up where I was.
I like your background. That is pretty great.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I'm trying to decide what's moving where, and that takes me a long time. So,
and you know what's
did you
funny?
get anything? Did you get anything new?
I did, but real quick, kind of funny thing about your background with the Joes being on the top shelf and the Thundercats being underneath them.
Mm-hmm.
My setup, one of my setups in my shelving is the Thundercats sitting on the top shelf with my computer and my GI Joes directly underneath them.
Nice.
So great minds.
Right, that's the Cobra classifieds. You can see Major Blood giving his, and then the Joe classifieds over there. And so I'm moving things around, and I didn't want to have an empty shelf behind me. So these guys usually go on the that big wooden shelf over there. But
yeah,
as I'm moving things around, I didn't want empty space behind me.
You're gonna have to clear out some more space for that cat's lair.
Yeah.
Because
no, I'm not getting that.
One of us might be getting that.
Well, I'm eliminating myself from the options, so more power to you, my friend.
So I have a couple of pickups today it's once again the war between myself and Big Daddy Target continues, yielding some interesting results because I always imagine it's me and Big Daddy Target doing the whole test of strength thing in the ring. And
like
then
the hands?
like sometimes he gets the upper hand and I'm like, my wallet, I can't. And then sometimes I get the upper hand and I'm like, ooh, clearance. So this was one of those opportunities. You got to
start shaking your head like Hulk Hogan and that'll give you strength.
Like you're having a stroke.
Right. I don't know if it'll be strength of wallet, but
as a younger person watching Hulk Hogan do the whole shaking his body thing and face and whatever, I always kind of figured one day he's gonna do it and just collapse, and everyone's
his face would just fall off. Yeah,
like, you get all flush, and then he would just go down, and everyone would stop, and Gorilla Monsoon would be like, "Oh my!"
Yeah, I used to my dad used to make fun of it all the time because his eyes would get big and he'd shake, and then suddenly he was immune to punches. Like all fight long, he's been punched in the head, but suddenly the crazy eyes kicked in and he's immune to it.
I think everyone got excited and related to that because that's what toddlers do. When they don't get their way, they grit their teeth and they do the whole fisty thing and they shake and they are immune to anything you have to say and do to them. So anyway, I got Pighead.
Oh, nice.
He was on clearance. So now my Masterverse Sunman, who I had to purchase in store because my pre-orders are still pending. I want to know. I have to know anyone who is out there, anyone who is listening, who is within the sound of my voice. If you have received your pre-order from Target for Sunman, tell us. Right? Write us. I'm gonna
because we've had somebody write in and say, "I'm with you, Tom. I'm feeling your pain. Did. I haven't gotten mine yet."
I appreciate the listener who wrote in and shared their experience with Target and their pre-orders just sitting there. But I'm gonna run through the socials real quick right now, just because if you've gotten your Sunman from Target via pre-order, let us know at Two Guys Talking Toys
via pre-order.
Yes, via pre-order. Let us know at Two Guys Talking Toys. We're on Twitter. That's the number 2, no G after the talking. If you got your pre-order for Sunman, send us a picture of it at our Gmail. That is Two Guys Talking Toys.
Tom needs proof.
The number
he doesn't
2.
Trust you guys.
Yeah, the number 2, no G after the talking. I am dying to know because I don't think anybody has. But anyway, got a Pigman for clearance. Now, this is the weird thing about some of the Targets. I know that kind of as a whole, they seem to be putting these on clearance, which is great, and that's fine. But the amount of clearance seems to vary from store to store. The general clearance seems to be $10 or like $10 ish. My other pickup is Shadow Weaver, who was on clearance for $10.99, and that's great. And that's also what I got New Adventures He-Man for. But then some of their clearances, quote unquote clearances, were $18.69. So I got Manny Faces as well, and that's great. And I really wanted the Masterverse version of him because he looks really cool. I love that he has like the going to work suitcase, so he can stroll into the office and be like, "Here we go. What are we doing today?"
Right, like Zartan's backpack with the face in it.
Yeah,
you don't want to find that backpack and I wonder what's in here and open it and have that face sticking out.
Yeah, and he's like, "I got a PowerPoint presentation. Gonna wear the Keldor face for that today."
That is a good one. That's a good face.
Yeah, I mean, that guy can sell anything. Sold himself to Evil Lynn. Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, so I got these for
sorry.
clearance. Oh no, just got these for clearance, and not too bad. What about you?
Yeah, I just brought in a box from Big Bad Toy Store, which has some Masterverse in it, like the Blue Faker, the second Faker.
Oh, nice.
And Clawful and Grizzlor. I haven't opened it. I literally just brought it downstairs from and the new Dungeons and Dragons animated guys, which I'm afraid to hold up because the light might melt them or explode them. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. But so I haven't opened anything yet, but I did get the
that is nice. The
Steel Clan.
Steel Clan.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And he's big, like he's a hefty guy.
Now, do you think he's bigger than? Yeah, I see that you haven't taken him out yet. Do you think he is as big as Goliath, if not bigger?
I think he's got a little, because the the gargoyles have that weird sinewy muscle thing going on, and he doesn't. He's got the bulk, mechanism look, and I do think he's a little bit more hefty. I like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's very cool. I mean, I literally just brought him downstairs, so I don't think I've ever shown a closed one, but I'll next week I'll have a couple of other ones out and we'll take a look at them.
Now, are you going to be? Is one enough for you, or do you suffer from my affliction where I have to have 3 of them?
No, I'm a one and done. Like I don't need to troop build. Like if I find them on clearance and blah blah blah, like I'll troop build. But well, I mean, there are some like the classifieds. I've got a couple Alley Vipers and a couple other ones. But no, I'll probably just stay with one of him.
Okay. Oh, I just thought one of my other pickups, but I don't actually have it here with me. Roton I found in Walmart has been clearance down to $13. So if you would like a Roton, or if you would like more than one Roton, let me know and I'll pick one up.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's cool.
I love that it comes with the little extra red faceplate, like the model kit that came out years ago. It's really cool looking.
Nice. That's a good find. So so we're jumping in today, Tom, because I've heard chatter amongst friends, women specifically, talking about how studly you are. No. That and people are excited that next week we get to see the Barbie movie.
Now, are you going to see that in theaters?
I am. Yeah, it looks funny. I think it's well casted. The concept is pretty funny. It looks like they're going to be bringing her into the real world, which is sort of a trope that we've seen with the Smurfs and the like. That's sort of where everything goes. Even it started with, I guess, maybe the Brady Bunch movies that kind of made it big.
Yeah, kind of keeping it, like taking the whatever sitcom lives in this universe, and now they have to join.
And then watching them relate to the real world. Yeah, but I mean, it looks funny. It looks good. So I thought tonight that you and I may discuss Miss Barbie.
Well, this should be interesting because I own not one single Barbie.
Not one. I do have. Now the funny thing is, so Barbie, I always thought was like the original one name star, like
Mhm,
Cher or Adele, whatever.
mhm.
But she does have a full name. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Her full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts.
Oh, that's kind of funny. I had
Yeah,
no idea. I only knew where like she originated from. That like they got the idea from like a German Lily doll.
right. It was
Uh,
like a
and
German thing. Who was the
yeah,
creator? Ruth Handler, right? Something like that
yes,
was, yeah. She it was a German, like kind of a,
kind of a
if I remember
risque, much
correctly, it was
more.
kind of a risque
Yeah,
thing, right?
much
The German
much
doll.
more of an adult kind of
Yeah.
more of like an illustration based kind of character. And I don't know, I forgot why whomever was over there, but they saw it and they were like, yeah, good idea.
Yeah, because the
Let's
dolls here were like baby dolls
yes,
or like those weird, like they
feed
weren't
it and it
color forms,
poops.
but like the paper, like
Oh
you'd have
yeah,
like cut out
yeah,
and
you
then you could change the clothes. That
yep.
was paper, right?
Hmm.
I remember seeing that when I was a kid.
Hmm.
Even it that continued, but it was like and that was then replaced by like color form type
Yeah.
things. But like Barbie replaced that, and when girls got older into their early to mid teens, they you don't want them carrying around baby dolls. What kind of message is that sending, right? So Barbie jumped in.
Now, did you know anyone that had Barbies, whether it be like in your school or
Yeah,
mhm,
Barbies were big. When I was in elementary school, like girls would come to school with Barbies in their backpacks, with
mhm.
the matted hair, and they look like they'd been, you know what I mean? You know what the Barbies look like when they've been played with by the little girls.
Mhm.
Um, but I just was always fascinated, even when a kid, like I walked down the Barbie aisle because there was just always something new. There was
Yeah.
always something new, and Barbie was always so trendy. Like always, I remember the '80s. There was the one with the really, really long hair
Oh,
that
you get the
had sort of,
extensions. Hmm.
yeah, had sort of, I don't know, it had a weird name, like not like mega hair, but like something hair Barbie, right? But they had a little thing where you could crimp it,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because you can
and she
actually
had
cut
those
the
very
hair.
like kind of
And
Debbie Gibson clothes on. Yeah,
I feel like that was in direct response to the number of girls who cut their Barbie's hair and it
right.
didn't
I
grow
think it was
back.
something
And I,
very '80s, like
mhm.
totally hair or something like that. Like,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah,
So I grew up with sisters, so they all had their Barbies or like their version of Barbie,
right.
and the way that we played was a combination of I'm a boy who loved
Thought you were gonna
wrestling
say I'm a
and
Barbie girl.
I
I thought that was
I,
what was coming out
I
of your mouth.
we all lived in a Barbie world whether we wanted to or not.
Right.
People just didn't want to admit it. Uh, but like the play was soap opera style wrestling
Nice.
meets so and wrestling is just a male soap opera anyway, so there
Right.
was
Right.
there was some crossover that was able to happen, but because of that my sisters uh were able to kind of like make a more impassioned push for some of the Barbies that they wanted. So I remember
Ah, yes.
offhand, like depending on whatever story we had going on, would require a specific Barbie to be purchased to take part in it. Uh, but
Brilliant. That was great marketing.
yeah,
Bravo.
the one that I remember the most because and I feel like we
You know,
we
we
still
were
have to
with your
do
sisters today. We should have talked about this with them to get some of their insight on it.
with these are so our topics are so spur of the moment. we,
I know.
but, but there were yeah, like some specific Barbies that were great for whatever thing we had going on. And we still need to do an episode on how we played as kids, like
Yes.
our play patterns.
Right. And
But
I would love to get, like my brothers on for that one. That would be
I
great.
think that would be great. But I remember specifically like any oh, what was her name? Peaches and Cream Barbie.
That was a
And
real thing.
that was a real thing. And I don't remember offhand exactly what the gimmick was. I think it like she was just just like a super duper glamorous, like the big puffy outfit. That was like a huge thing because
Cookies and cream was a big outfit, like a big glamorous dress. Huh.
Peaches and
Peaches and
cream.
cream. Oh, okay.
Yep. It
Oh,
was
well then fine. Yeah, that makes, that makes
totally
perfect sense.
totally different. Completely different. But I remember that being a big thing. But what stood out to me even more than that was later on, the way that Barbies were produced, or the way that the figure was set up. You had your up and down arms, you had your twist at the
Right.
waist, you had the head that turned, and you had the just like kind of the T crotch, or the legs that come up. But there was a little bit of articulation in the knee, and I
Yep.
don't remember.
And it was
offhand
like
what kind
under
of
the
joint
rubber.
was.
It was
Yes,
it would click, and you couldn't get a full bend.
yes,
You know what I mean?
it was just a little bit,
But
because
I
I mean
always thought it was
there was
cool
no.
how it was under the rubber.
Yeah, and I imagine there was no need for her to get into any real dynamic poses. The most she really needed to do was get her into her Corvette. But in the 90s,
It's
in
a dream car. It's a dream car.
oh, that's true. It was a dream car. But in the I want to say mid 90s, they made specialty Barbies for everything. But my younger sister wound up getting a like Olympic Games Atlanta Barbie.
Oh, that's cool.
And I remember because she became part of the play that we that we were doing.
Right, of course.
And the most notable thing was, like, she had like the whole like gymnast outfit and whatever, but she was super duper articulated. And I remember being blown away at the time because we were just kind of
Well, she's
coming
a
up with,
gymnast.
she is, and yet and they came up with, like, they leaned into it, and they're like, she should be able to assume all kinds of gymnastic poses.
That's cool.
She had articulation everywhere in it. I don't recall if she had articulation in the chest, but her arms, it was in the elbows, were like full on. I don't think they were ball and socket, but they had full rotation. Rotation in the hips, which was
nice.
crazy at the time.
That wasn't
full articulation in the knees. And if I remember right, I want to say in the ankles, she did have it in the wrist, which was unheard of.
Yeah.
And it
so
was,
she can do handstands and whatnots, because she got that karate chop.
Yeah, the original ones just had the
and like all the accessories, like the phone would just slide over the.
Yeah, she had the kind of the set crab hand, and then the folded arms so that you could hang the purse or whatever it was that you needed to put on your Barbie. But this particular one I remember being amazed by, because it was more articulated than most action figures that I had at the time. I think I think the only thing that came close was probably Sectar's, and she was more articulated than them, which blew my mind.
Right. If the Sectars were just a little bit bigger, they could have hung out with Barbie. Now, Barbie in my house had a different, not very flattering history. My younger brother Dale, is one of the officers in the KISS Army. So one of his first collection prizes, that he didn't play with it. It was and we were young still. It was a collection prize that he had on the shelf. He was one of the first one of us to get a collection toy, and it was the 12-inch tall KISS figures, that were released in the 70s. They had the real hair. They were very Ken-like, and they had the I forget which album it was, like Dynasty or one of them, but they had like the onesies with the silver boots and the makeup and the whole 9 yards, right? And so he had them set up on the shelf, and of course, each one of them needed a groupie. And so Barbie, in all of her wonderful professionalism, my younger brother found a way to insult her and make her a groupie for KISS. And of course, Gene Simmons had 2 Barbies.
Of course.
Of course he did. But I love that Barbie people, much like you and I, like we collect these type of characters, right? And not only do we like the articulation and the artwork and the sculpting and the effort that comes into making the figure, but we could tell you every one of the characters and their background and why we like that character and so on and so forth. And Barbie has a rich history as well. And the people who collect Barbie like know the years. Like, yeah, everybody knows that Barbie was born in, I think, March, was it March of 59, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And like they they know that kind of thing. But like I don't think Barbie has the punch today for little girls, because when Bratz came out, the Bratz
Yeah,
dolls came out.
that
If
was really
someone
kind
said to
of the
me, I'm going to release a doll and I'm going to go head on
Mhm,
with Barbie, like I'm going to take shelf space
mhm.
from Barbie, I said, that's great. I hope you enjoy bankruptcy, because that's not going to happen. And it did.
Mhm.
So girls today have all these like weird teen dolls. So like it's weird. Like Barbie was the show of what the world can be for women, right?
Mhm.
Barbie even ran for president, if I'm correct. There were like
I
president,
yeah,
and
that sounds about right.
then like early on, Barbie had friends of different colors. What was
Mhm.
her best friend? The
Oh, I
color
don't
girl,
remember her name.
Christy. Was it Christy?
I think you're right. There was a Christie doll.
Yeah, and it was a young black professional woman. Like
Mhm,
it was cool, right? And then
mhm.
Barbie made the first, I believe, now I don't know, I'm not a Barbie person, but like the first doll in a wheelchair, I think, was Barbie.
I think
Was a Barbie character.
I think so.
But like the world that can be was presented to girls through Barbie. What Bratz did and Monster High and yada
Mhm.
yada presented the world as it is. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? As it should be. And it was based on fashion. Even the cartoons were based on, there was like teen drama and that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But Barbie always kind of held herself above all that. You know what I mean? Am
Well,
I right?
well, there was it's funny that you mentioned that there being a competitor for Barbie. There I imagine a lot of people who would be watching this have also seen Toys That Made Us. But if they have not, there's a
Right.
really interesting episode on Barbie, and I remember. I'm glad that they got a lot more detail on this story than I did, because I kind of knew of it vaguely. So Gem and the holograms.
Yes.
I
Truly
remember that.
outrageous.
I remember that being a thing, and when more people love that cartoon than I think are willing to admit. Gem was awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
The opening credit scene was
Oh, it
fantastic.
was so good. What was going to happen with Rio? Why was she cheating on Rio with herself? Why was that the drama? But, but that was a big hit for Hasbro. And Hasbro's thought was, we've got Transformers, we've got GI Joe, we have nailed it with the boys market. We need to get into the girls market. My Little Pony is not doing it.
No.
So we gotta get like that little girl market, but so that she has some sort of like some action figure ish dress them up. We need our Barbie. And they came up with Gem, and then the cartoon hit, and it was a huge hit. And they were
Yeah.
like, toys yesterday, gotta do it. And
Yeah.
I don't remember how Mattel found out. Somehow Mattel found out that Hasbro was in production on Gem, and they crushed their development. Like all production on everything stopped. And
Yep.
they were like, give me Rockstar Barbie. Two
Hmm.
days ago. We need it now. They're set to release
Yeah. We got to
at
pull the
whatever
trigger
date.
first.
We have to beat them to it, so that Gem looks like a knockoff of Barbie.
Hmm.
And they did it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can consider that an inspiring success story, because met their they hit their goal of making Gem, I don't want to say second rate, but after Barbie and the Rockers came out,
Yep.
when Gem hit, I remember Gem figures being out or Gem dolls being out, but they
Right.
didn't
I
have that
forgot about
impact
Barbie and the
anymore.
Rockers until you
Yeah,
just brought it up. But that's genius.
they
You know, coming from someone who worked in production, like you need to get products.
mhm.
You need to pivot quickly. I hate to use the word pivot, but you got to
It's
turn
true.
quickly on those things.
Mhm.
And when you see an opportunity coming, and
Because that was
yeah,
their cat.
it's an amazing turnaround. It was
Because that was,
quick.
and I remember that being their cash cow, because if I'm remembering correctly, and of course correct me if I'm wrong, you or anyone else that's listening, by the time that scare had happened, He-Man and She-Ra were kind of on the decline,
Yep.
and Barbie was their number one thing. I mean, Hot Wheels has always been a consistent, but
Right.
they needed, like, that wasn't really killing it in the girls' market. Barbie was, and those numbers were starting to stagnate. And if Jem had come out of nowhere and surprised everybody, in addition to the show, that I don't think it would have killed Barbie, but it absolutely would have been serious competition. And I remember the commercial for Barbie and the Rockers, and I remember they had a cartoon. They made a 45-minute special or something
they
where
turned
they were like,
it around. Like that production was fast.
Yep. And they did it, and Jem fell by the wayside, which is kind of unfortunate as far as competition goes. So when Bratz started up, I remember in the back of my head thinking, well, Mattel's going to mash them into the ground, and it didn't help that one of the people that was creating it was a designer on Barbie. So I
thought for sure they were going to get mushed, and then it just kept going, and then Monster High, and then so on and so forth, and it was amazing. And now Barbie holds a small percentage of the aisle for those.
Yeah, like they're still definitely cranking them out, and I still recall seeing like for every I don't want to insult Barbie and call her a pop figure, but there's almost like any kind of like major franchise that comes out that has a recognizable character. There is a Barbie counterpart to that. There's the Little Mermaid Barbie. There's been pretty much any sort of like Disney princess.
They do like Cher, Princess Diana. Like I mean, anyone who's everyone. Look, so I have a Barbie and a Ken here, and you're gonna be like, of course, those are the Barbie and Kens you have. Ready?
Hey, that's hilarious. I love that it's Adam West Batman.
Yeah. And these are Ken and Barbie. So maybe I don't know if they're gonna go fight crime. But they're definitely going to a Halloween party at least.
Yeah, I think they're going to a party. That seems to be Barbie's forte. Which is also kind of interesting in that the world that is presented by Barbie is that she's a person that has a billion different occupations and goes to parties, but she's not actually that character. Like there is no like super sports action hero Barbie. There's one that may dress up as one that goes to a party, which I always thought was kind of interesting. So
she was the first cosplayer.
Yeah, like she may dress up like Cher, but she's not Cher. She's Barbie and the Rockers, or she's not Catwoman. She's Barbie really likes Catwoman, so she's dressing up for her and going to the party with Ken.
Right. You know what I hope comes up in the movie, because Barbie and Ken broke up once.
And she
dated this Australian dude named Blaine. What a douchey name. It was Blaine something. Like I think it was Blaine Gordon.
He doesn't get much worse than that.
No, that's a guy you don't want to. That's the guy who's got the sweater tied around. Like even Ken's like, really, dude? Really? That's the guy you are?
What was the board meeting for that like? Where they're like, we need name. We're replacing Ken. Ken's out. We need. We're gonna go,
like, no.
We're gonna go around the table. Everyone tell us the name of the guy who stole your girlfriend in high school, because we know you all have one.
Right.
And that was the winning
I
name.
hear the name Blaine, I think of the movie Better Off Dead. But yeah, poor Ken, man. That had to be rough. I don't know if Blaine is still a thing. It'd be funny if it came up in the movie, but I think that was his name. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, loyal listeners, tell me. I mean, maybe they've broken up a couple times. I don't know. I can't keep track of Barbie on social media, you know.
Oh, you Ken fans. And then let us not.
He was Australian, though. I remember he was Australian.
That's a strange decision to make. Like, well, why specifically Australian?
Yeah, the accent. But remember when Australia was like en vogue? Like it was cool.
Oh, that's true, because there were all those random movies like the Rescuers Down Under. Everyone had to go down. It was the same.
Crocodile Dundee, and like for a while, like, and everybody wanted to meet an Australian. Like if you ever when you're in college in the 90s and everybody went away and went across to Europe, and they'd come back and be like, yeah, we hung out in this pub with these crazy Australians. Like it didn't matter that you were in England or Italy, as long as you met it on. Like, why didn't you just go to Australia and drink some Fosters and meet a whole bunch of them?
Yeah, it's like when in Hollywood the big thing was well, this movie's about being in a different location. Where it would be like something goes Hawaiian, like everyone went Hawaiian,
Right.
and then it
Brady's go
became
Hawaii.
yeah, and then it would be something down under because you had to go somewhere. You had to go to Australia. It was just here's a thing in a different place, and that's the gimmick. That's it. That's all you
it's
get.
the same story.
Yeah, the exact
It's the
same
same.
thing.
Or yeah, it was always the destination.
Did they do that Weekend at Bernie's? Was it Weekend at Bernie's too? Also in Hawaii?
I want to
Or
see.
in
It
some
might
kind
have
of
been. I don't know.
some kind of
I don't honestly ever think I watched Weekend at Bernie's too, because he would start to smell by the sequel. I think
he would absolutely have rigor mortis would long have been passed, and his parts would have just fallen off.
Weekend at Bernie's 3 is a zombie movie.
You know, one franchise that Barbie never took advantage of, Weekend at Bernie's.
Right.
No Weekend at Ken's, which is kind of unfortunate. We do not have Walking Dead Barbie.
That would be cool though.
No Pinhead Barbie. But you know what? There's a lot of Japanese sculptures that exist where they turn horror franchises into cute girls. So I guess Barbie said let them have that.
That is true. So then let them keep that. Barbie doesn't need that kind of stress. She's a busy girl. And she's not getting any younger. She's not getting any younger.
No, that would be her younger sister Skipper.
Skipper!
You
Yes. I always thought like Skipper came out, if I'm remembering correctly, and I may not be because I'm not a Barbie historian, but Skipper came out at the same time like a bunch of TV shows were getting ruined by adding some brat kid in there, like Different Strokes and all the other ones.
Yep, right around that tail end where if they weren't having them literally jump the shark, then they would bring in a child, and that would be the death knell for that show.
Right. It was just like, I don't understand how they kept seeing it over and over again. And then some guy in some meeting, like, I don't know, like total strangers. And I'm like, let's bring a kid in. No,
don't do it. It's the same as taking the dog out in the back.
Right. Just leave Balky alone.
Isn't that how Old Yeller ends, where they bring the dog in the back, except there's a new child there, and they're like, oh, this is never going to work.
Right. Just shoot the dog. Put it out of its misery. Yeah, so when your sisters got the different Barbies for your soap operas, were they all Barbie, or did they give them different names because they were going to be interacting? So was it like a multiplicity Michael Keaton thing, or did they have different names?
Yeah, no, they all slotted right into whatever story it was that we were telling.
Right.
The Olympic Barbie, because she was super duper articulated and she could hang with we really do have to do a totally separate episode on this, because I can go on for the rest of the show about this.
But were they all named Barbie, or did they make up new names?
No, we created new names for them. Sometimes it would just be something brand new out of the ether, or something similar to what they were. Like the Olympic Barbie was just called Olympia, but she was a ridiculous goddess. Yeah, she was like a crazy overpowered goddess that came down from up high to balance the scales of power with whatever story it was we had going on. So she was like a cosmic being. See, there was another Barbie, and I kind of liked that they were just playing around with different gimmicks with Barbie, just like action figures, where you didn't have a Barbie covered in moss like Moss Man, but I now remember what the gimmick for Peaches and Cream Barbie was, in fact, that she had a perfume that smelled like peaches and cream to go along with the I think the dress she had were similar colors. Yeah. It was a whole girls wanting to play with dolls and wanting those dolls to be grown up so that they could play grown up. But one of the things was getting into perfume, and again, Barbie collectors could. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that she came with some sort of like fragrance that would make her smell like peaches and cream, and it was attractive. But they also had there was a Barbie that had like weird gems in her eyes. And my younger sister had one of those. I remember
that. Yeah.
And I don't remember what it was called, and we just called her Sparkle Eyes. And she was essentially a mutant, and that was her mutant power, was to create like intense like sparkling energy from her eyes.
Nice.
but it was kind of cool that was just a random gimmick. They're like, look
Yeah,
at her
that's cool.
look at her enchanting eyes. But I
Yeah.
don't remember offhand any other gimmicks.
Are we being remiss? We need to speak about Ken, I think, in the last few minutes that we have, because there were a lot of different Kens. Like there was the long haired, with the real hair that you could
I
comb,
paid very
and then
little
there was
attention
the
to Ken.
shave Ken.
Oh, was that the one where it was like water change?
No,
Yeah,
it came with a little marker and you could draw the beard on. And then the razor was a little yellow molded piece of plastic, and you would dip it in the water and then literally just wash the beard
That
off.
is hilarious. He was like an updated Wooly Wally.
Yeah, and then you could do the same thing to his back. So that was cool.
Ladies, you're not going to get a man unless you properly tend to his back hair. Just ask Ken.
Yeah, but then there was a long hair one, but other than Blaine, I can't remember any other names for.
Yeah,
did Ken have a skipper? But there was a little boy. There was a young boy.
I do remember there being a little boy, but I couldn't tell you the name to save my life.
No.
And it seemed like he was just made because we have a skipper.
A skipper
like,
needed someone to hang around with. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember? And I don't think I'm misremembering this. Wasn't there a pregnant Barbie, and you could actually deliver the baby? Or was that another?
I think
like
that
Barbie figure that was trying to
vaguely remember something, but I don't know that was Barbie. I don't know that was Barbie, because they did kind of stay away from, and did a great job staying away from. Even though she had the heels, and the first one it ever made was a bathing suit with high heels. They didn't really do a lot of sexuality stuff with her. So I would have been surprised, but I can't say that it didn't happen, but I would be surprised.
I remember it, but I would, I could be, because I remember there were a lot of kind of imitation Barbie lines that tried and then kind of faded away.
What would they call that? Mom Barbie? Like Barbie the.
I have no idea. Like the new mom Barbie.
Right.
New parent Barbie. No idea. I'm at a loss. But because there was a baby, I remember there being.
I do remember babies.
like a either a baby and or a toddler in the Barbie line.
There were other
wasn't
characters.
Skipper. And I don't remember like where they came from or what the storyline behind it was.
Part of the genius of Barbie and Ken was that you sell the doll, right? And it was whatever they went for when we were kids, or even now. I'm sure they're more expensive now. But the money is made in the accessories and the changes in clothes. You know what I mean? Like, so you're not just selling, like we buy Panthro here, right? And I'm done. I've spent my money for Panthro. I am not spending any more money on this toy. I'm done. It's open. It's on the shelf. I own it. Done. But Barbie, like I would buy him, and then, these clothes are worn out. I'm going to buy more clothes. Or maybe Barbie's changing a job. Or maybe Barbie's going on a date with Ken. Or maybe Barbie needs an apron to shave Ken's back. Either way, I'm going to spend more money on a figure that I already paid for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's genius.
Yeah, which is also kind of interesting, because that means you're eliminating the need to buy another Barbie. And I don't recall offhand what the known QC issues were on a Barbie offhand. Like I don't remember if there were any particular parts that were prone to breaking. So
they seem to last forever, because you still see old Barbies laying around yard sales and everything else. And they're beat up. They look like they went through hell. So they're made pretty well.
So listeners, if you had Barbies and you put them through hell, let us know. Or did they live a slice of heaven in your particular home?
And their dream house.
Will you be buying more Barbies? Will you be putting them in the Cat's Lair? Will you be putting them in Snake Mountain? Let us know. Let me run through the socials real quick. Once again, our Twitter handle is 2 Guys Talking Toys on Twitter. The number 2, no G after the talking. Get a hold of us on Gmail at 2 Guys Talking Toys. That is the number 2, no G after the talking. Dana, this has been awesome.
It has. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party.
Let's go party.